G'day everyone, Dr. Ryan here from Seaman Chiropractic again. Today we're going to talk to you about how to reduce the chance of injuries in your workplace. Maybe you operate heavy machinery, drive a vehicle for a living, maybe you're a laborer, you could even be employed in the agriculture, forestry, or commercial fishing industry. Construction, you might be an electrician or a plumber or any other kind of tradie for that matter. However, the stats are in now, compiled from work data from 2016, and they're showing that if you're in any one of those professions, you make up 76% of the fatalities in Australian workplaces, and 57% of all other workplace injuries. So those are huge, really big numbers when you consider it. And blokes, I'm sorry, if you're a man, you're 10 times more likely, according to the stats, than women to have a fatality at work. I don't know about you, but I want to make it home safe from work for my kids. So today I thought I'd write and produce this video for you guys, covering the top tips on how to reduce your chance of having a workplace injury. Two of the most common types of injuries, according to the stats, are body stressing injuries, which are sprains, strains, repetitive stress injuries, disc injuries, bulges, prolapses. Those are all preventable. And then the other ones are slips, trips, and falls. Again, most of these are preventable. So in this video, we're going to help you reduce that as best we can. Now, first and foremost, you need to follow all your OH&S standards. This really should go without say, but we're all getting busier and busier, and the busier we get, the more stressed we get, and that's when we start cutting corners. So if you're cutting corners with safety, that's not a good thing, is it? The next thing that's really obvious, and it's a good night's sleep. If you are well rested, you are way less likely to have a workplace injury. The science has shown us that if you're sleep deprived for, they call it mildly, and that's 1 to 2 nights of interrupted sleep, and that's the equivalent of having a blood alcohol level in your body's physical performance of 0.5 to 0.8. That's pretty inebriated, considering you're not allowed to drive at that point if you actually had alcohol in your system. Now, if you're going to moderate, which goes the next step above that, they talk that to being up to as high as 0.1 blood alcohol equivalent level. So that's pretty in high risk for having a workplace injury right there on its own. Now, if you're like a lot of tradespeople I know, you like to go home, have a couple of beers to wind down, that also is going to interfere with your sleep. Alcohol has been shown to be great to help you falling asleep. However, it interrupts that circadian rhythm that helps keep us asleep, so we have less restful sleep with more waking. The next thing you need to have is a strong and flexible body. Now, most of the tradies I work with are exhausted at the end of the day, and they really don't feel like working out. And besides that, they go, I work hard enough at work, I don't need to exercise, Ryan. And I go, well, unfortunately, the facts is most of the work you do is not in a correct posture to develop strength where you need it to prevent injuries. In fact, you're developing strength in an abnormal posture, which is going to predispose you to more injuries, and usually more severe injuries at that. So getting a great quality exercise program full of functional movement, like you'd find at a CrossFit gym or other functional facilities, is really key here. Now, if you are going to CrossFit gyms and other functional facilities, this is where we're getting to see more injuries. And we're seeing more injuries because some of the coaches aren't as effective as others. Thankfully, in my local area, we've got some great coaches in our gyms. But if your coach isn't following you and checking in on your form, you need to have form before you start pushing mass. And a lot of them are going for the big numbers because they want you to be pushing what they call the prescribed weights. And this is where we run into injuries. The next thing you need to have is great balance. Now, you can train your balance, or more importantly, the proprioceptive system of the body. Now, proprioception is your body's map in your brain of where it is in space in relation to everything around it, including your own posture. Now, thankfully, when you're training this, the test for it is as simple as the exercise. The test is the exercise. So the test is simple. You stand on one leg with the other in the air. Do that for 30 seconds. Then you swap legs and repeat that test. If you can do that with your eyes open, you progress a little further and you go on to doing it with your eyes closed. So the same test with your eyes closed. Now, if you can stand on 30 seconds without having to put your foot down on both legs with your eyes closed, you're doing pretty good. There's a little space for improvement always, however, better than the average population in my experience. Now the next thing you need to have is a spine that moves fully. And when I say moves fully, in its ideal range, not only in gross movement, so how you move your whole body, but at a segmental level. When I'm talking segmental level, that's the one vertebra in relation to the ones around it. When this isn't normal, it puts abnormal stresses on the discs and predisposes you to things like disc injuries and prolapses. As a chiropractor, that's what we work with every day. We analyze you for a segmental dysfunction as well as neurological function and adjust accordingly. The goal is to get your body working at a higher functional level. Range of motion wise, in muscle strength, neurologic function. We strive to improve all those things. We also analyze your posture, in some cases your gait, but we don't want you to become one of these workplace injuries or fatalities. So that's one of the reasons why we're working with you to get those tests back to normal. Last but not least is great nutrition. We all need to have great nutrition. However, if you're not getting great nutrition as a tradesperson or a laborer or in any one of those fields we mentioned earlier, your body is not getting the food it needs and the nutrition it needs to heal and self-regulate at a proper level. So you're going to be more predisposed to injuries, and if you have them, it's going to take longer to get on top of them. So, a little bit of planning, a little bit of prep goes a long ways to improving your overall level of health. Now, stay posted there. Our nutritionist, Lindley Seaman, she's going to be coming on board with us and doing a post all about lunchbox lunches and for tradies, etc. So keep posted, check that one out, and we'll talk to you real soon.